Water is a source of life. We can't get along, obviously, without good, fresh, clean water. And in the early 1900s, there wasn't any water in North Park. There was only a few people lived here, maybe 50, 60 folks, a few lemon tree orchards, a couple of dairies. But when you drill down, you can't find any water because there's nothing there. So they had to pump it in or haul it in with carts drawn by mules, going up what they called the Big Grade, which we now call Pershing Drive. It was a one-lane dirt road coming up from downtown, water crates pulled by mules. You imagine how hard that was. So the city planners decided in about 1908, 1909 to build a reservoir up near what we now call Howard Avenue between Idaho and Oregon streets. And they had the reservoir, which was great. They could pump water up from the river in Mission Valley, but there was no water pressure. So in order to make the community grow, they had to put in a tower. And they did it in a grand style. It was the biggest one in the United States, holds 1.2 million gallons of water, and that allowed for water pressure throughout the whole community. And at that point, North Park really started to grow. The community went from just a couple dozen people to hundreds, and then into 1,000 people. And because of the presence of water and transportation, the community of North Park started to grow rather rapidly. So by the early 1920s, it was necessary to add extra services like churches, schools, and other things that communities need to grow.
So that brings us to California in 1920. The Bishop of Los Angeles is a man named Cantwell. Cantwell was an Irishman, and Cantwell had been educated by the Augustinians in Ireland. And so there had been a need for Catholic schooling, formation of Catholic elementary schools, which in the mid-19th century, the Catholic Church and the bishops ordered all parishes to have schools. And so he, that is, Cantwell, went to the Augustinian headquarters in Villanova, Pennsylvania, and asked Sheehan, I believe it was Father Sheehan, who was the provincial at the time, to consider sending Augustinians to the West Coast. And in 1922, the first Augustinians came by train to the Santa Fe Depot here in San Diego.
In early 1920s, 1921 to be exact, Bishop Cantwell from the Diocese of Los Angeles, of which San Diego was a part, approached Father Gregory Ash and asked him to establish a new church in the growing community of North Park. And they called it St. Patrick's, which is no surprise since Bishop Cantwell and Father Ash both came from Ireland. The Augustinians came over here from St. Vincent's in 1925.
The Augustinians, we have had this parish almost since the beginning of the parish in the early 1920s. And since then it's been part of the order of St. Augustine. So we as the order supply the pastors and other priests who provide the spiritual needs and all kinds of needs that a parish takes care of. So the provincial assigns which Augustinian is going to be here at St. Patrick's.
The presence of the Augustinians here at this school really distinguishes itself from different Catholic schools that I've been at. St. Mary's was run by the Christian Brothers, which has its own unique personality, but I think the academics is the same. You learn how to do a lot of things at a lot of different schools, but it's those charisms that become part of the living culture and community that is really what you take away from when you leave a place. It's tangible, you can sense it, and when you come across people who have also experienced that, you have something in common, and it really is a sense of community that gets nurtured and fostered and continues. I mean, I don't remember anything that I learned in my sophomore algebra class. Probably that's because of me, not my teachers, but I remember my teachers, I remember how they treated me, I remember my friends, I remember Father Sanders, who was the principal, and that part doesn't go away. That part is the real thing that I took away. And now as a principal myself, something that we try to nurture here at St. Pat's. teachers are here because they believe in something that's greater than themselves. We're here for a mission. They could very easily, these are professional lay teachers. They are all fully credentialed. All of them, most of them have master's degrees. They could go to any public school and instantly make a lot more money. But they're here for the same reason that I'm here, because of this community, because we believe in something bigger than ourselves. And you know, it's not a job. It really truly is a vocation for the staff members that are here.
It had been presented to me by different people when I was between jobs at one point, and said, you know, you could make a lot more money. As a matter of fact, my husband, Jay, was a public school teacher. He was a chemistry teacher at Southwest High, honors chemistry, and said, you know, you could go into the public school system and teach French, or you could do such and such and such and such. So he even had me gather all of my points, whatever I'd gotten for the classes that we have to take every year, etc., and presented them to the Board of Education, and they told me what I would get as a salary. It'd be wonderful, you know. But St. Patrick's opened, and I thought, you know what, I cannot go into a classroom without expressing my faith. The way I teach the little ones, it's all bound together. I can't put God outside the door and not mention him, you know. So there I am. I loved what I did. I loved, and I don't look back and regret anything.
When teachers want to be here, it only benefits the students. When students arrive on campus, they feel like they feel loved. They feel like they all become our children.
I was a student at St. Patrick's from kindergarten through 8th grade. I was part of the volleyball team and the student council. As a young girl, I first wanted to be a nun at St. Patrick's, and then I really loved school and I wanted to be a Catholic school teacher, and then it was my junior year at OLP that I really decided I love science, I love service, and I could best combine those things being a doctor.
I was a student here in the 1950s, went all 8th grades, and it was a wonderful experience. I was involved with so many things, sports, was an altar server, a choir, all sorts of things that you get involved with in school. But the thing that you remember mostly from that is the way it affects your life. When you're out in the world, you don't really consciously think perhaps every day of what you're doing or how you're doing it, but when that is embedded into you, the right, the wrong, the way you treat other people, the way you address your community and your coworkers and your family, it's there. It's always there. And the Catholic education puts that into you. It's not just reading and writing and learning things for tests. It's about knowing how to be a better person.
My Catholic school career absolutely affects my practice as a doctor every day. Practicing medicine is, of course, science and art, and it's really something more. It's walking the walk of suffering and illness and sometimes death. And there's an entire dimension that I believe our spiritual life supplies. And I use that all the time talking to my patients.
Being a pastor, you are in a very unique position in the lives of parishioners, because you are with them when they're experiencing great joys, at a wedding, for example, at a baptism, for example. But also you are with them in times of great pain, like when somebody dies in their family. So it's that ministry of presence, that ministry of being there for them, allowing them to see through you Christ with them.
I've been here 31 years. I'm the face of 1130. I get texts from the priest saying, do you think we could do this at 1130? And I'm like, you're the boss. You decide if you want me to do this or whatever. You know, and I just chuckle. But yes, 1130, several reasons. I am not an early person, like I told you, so I've never in my 31 years been to 7:30 Mass, ever. Only went to 9:30 Mass a few times when the kids were in school. I did 36 years with the Department of the Navy, and they had, you know, 7-day-a-week coverage at the office that I worked with, I've never allowed anybody to schedule me to work on a Sunday. I don't work on Sunday. That Sabbath day is very important to me. So I don't. I'm like, okay, you telling me, the boss would sometimes, well, I need you to come in on Sunday. I'm sorry, but Sunday is already filled. And my father, before he passed away, he would say, Regina, you can't tell the boss, because I work for a commanding officer. He said, you can't tell them what you're going to do. And I said, well, the Lord will take care of me, because if they fire me, I'm probably going to just have to get another job. I lasted 36 years and never got fired. Same office for 36 years. So I've been blessed.
Churches are there the whole length of your life. Baptism as a baby, death, everything in between. And a lot goes on in between, and the church is there for you in that too. Today, I think San Diego, and particularly the North Park area, is an extremely diverse community. When you go to church at St. Patrick's on a Sunday, for instance, any typical Sunday, you see a wide variety of individual backgrounds, ethnicities, language spoken, country of origin.
We have in our province 36 members, but we're from 9 or 10 different countries of origin. And that excites me because I think that represents the church. I think it represents the church. It certainly represents California.
Yeah, we're really lucky. We have a great, diverse community. There are a lot of parents and a lot of people that want to see St. Pat succeed. And it's evident because this has been a challenging time these last years, and we've used it as a rallying cry for people to come and make this school thrive, and we're starting to see the benefit of so many people's efforts. It's really, it's heartwarming, it's encouraging, and it gives me hope that St. Pat's can continue to thrive for another 75, 76 years.
Good morning. Welcome to St. Pat's. Our reading song this morning is Praise the Lord, My Soul. Please rise as we greet the Lord in song.
Being part of the St. Patrick's Parish and the music was there. I didn't feel like playing at the time because other things, but nonetheless, St. Patrick's has been a home in so many ways. So I give back to St. Patrick's as much as I can.
I will definitely say that if it wasn't for my St. Patrick's family being so loving towards me and my boys, I don't know where we would have been.
I bring my faith with me everywhere I go, and that's been with me since day one. And I bring faith and spirituality into every patient encounter I have, whether it's spoken aloud or not. And so I deeply value that. And I have patients who are very open about their faith, and that's a big part of our interaction and our relationship. I pray for my patients every day, especially those who are really struggling or dealing with a very serious illness. So I think faith is critical in my career, and I am so blessed to have had the Catholic education I did.
Being part of the school, we're all really fortunate, and we understand that. We have all been given an opportunity. Here's this school, here's this community, let's continue to push it forward. Let's continue to advance its mission of educating kids in North Park. And it's a huge responsibility that we don't take lightly, but you can see it in all our staff members, in our administration, our faculty. We feel really fortunate to be part of this school community.
I truly believe that what I'm seeing is correct, which is that we got wonderful people working with even more wonderful people. The people that we work with, the parishioners and the coach and the teachers that teach with us, and all of these people are just real ministers as well, and they're teaching us as much as we're teaching them.
good experiences with the Augustinians. Those Augustinians, they're just wonderful to me. Father John Sanders, of course, was one of my favorite people to interact with. And
You know, in my daily meditations, I go through three things: truth, beauty, goodness. And that's what we have here at St. Patrick's. It's truthful. It's the Word of God, which is truth. We look at the beauty of our building, the beauty of our community, the beauty of our surroundings, of our school, the people that are here. And goodness. We are the exemplary goodness. We exude it when we are at our best. And it's a good place to be. It's a beautiful place to be. And above all, it's a truthful place to be. It's a loving place.